I'm just saying, like, we don't usually do West Coast people. And it's not anything
Yeah,
biased. We just don't know a lot of what's going on out in the West Coast. So you're gonna keep us up to speed. So
it's a wild, wild west, man. There's a lot to do out here,
okay.
Okay.
and big difference from SoCal to NorCal, and you know what they got going. They're ahead of the game. They've been doing it for decades.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I
Oh
see.
yeah,
I didn't realize that. I just feel like all California is sort of the same. So
no,
all right.
no, it's like two different states.
Okay.
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 All
All
right.
right. So hey, we're gonna get into it then.
Cool.
Come on, look. It's the kid that be ducking all the award shows. For the Oscars, I might go on my wardrobe. I've been looking, a lot of y'all getting foreclosed. Me, I got a crib that's just for clothes. That room is sneakers, well, that one is just some pillars. The bathroom is on watch, the kitchen is chillers. I mean, I could go on about the good house and the villas and the girls and the cars, or how I grew up with the killers. You with it, I'm with it. Let's get it, let's get it. I don't
Welcome back to the episode of Flag Talk, where we talk to all the big people that are doing big things in flag, the movers and shakers, and talk about other issues that are affecting the world of flag. As you know, I'm Eric Cooper, and this is my partner.
I'm Rashad Colvin.
And today we've talked to people from down south, we talked to people in Canada, but now we are going to the West Coast,
West
to
Coast.
talk to somebody who has one of the fastest growing flag football organizations in the whole country. Ryan Sarna, welcome to the show, my man.
Hey, thanks, Coach. We really appreciate you inviting us.
Great. Now, I'm an education. I work in the school district, and I know you were a teacher. And so tell us, bring us back to 2021. What made you want to start your league in the first place?
You know, I never intended it to really become a league. I just wanted to give the students something to do. And to kind of backtrack even further from 2021, I was a teacher in Richmond, California. You guys ever seen Coach Carter?
We have.
With,
Yes.
So right outside of my window of my classroom was the gym where that actually took place.
Wow.
And so yeah. So I was right there off Cutting Boulevard in Richmond, California, and loved teaching. That's where I fell in love with teaching. And I would connect to my students through coaching flag football. And it wasn't much of what they did. It was basically wear a white tee or wear a dark tee, and we're meeting at the park, and we invited the local whoever to come out, and we'd all just play together, and had Velcro flags. But through that, my classroom management and relationships really became strong, and so I didn't really have an issue with behavior that other teachers had. And so, taking that model of building the relationships with kids through flag football, I had not moved. I lived already in Vallejo, California, which is in Northeast Bay Area, and that was right just outside of San Francisco. And I changed schools because the bridge tolls here. I don't know about you guys, but bridge tolls here are crazy. It's like $8, $9 one way.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Right? And there's bridges all over, so you could spend $20 in bridge toll just going to San Francisco, and it's 30 minutes away.
Dad, that's
Right?
crazy.
It's crazy. It is. It is. So I had to avoid bridge toll because that really, stacks up for a teacher after a whole month. And in Vallejo, I was like, COVID happened. And I said, I'm going to start your flag football teams, and we'll go play some other, leagues and schools, just like we did in Richmond. But there was nothing here at all. And it's it's a relatively big city. It's 120, 130,000 people, a lot of in just this little town. And there's, about equal sized towns connected to us. And the nearby flag leagues were really expensive. And my students couldn't afford that. And so I'm watching all these great athletes at recess, raw, untrained, but, playing catch, throwing the ball, playing basketball, playing football. They've never had a jersey before because it's just too expensive to be on a team. So I said, you know what? We're going to start our own league. We're going to make it affordable. We're not going to turn anybody away where they could afford it or not. And we're going to make it high quality. And we ended up teaming up with the NFL. And that was our first flag league with 120 kids, middle schoolers. And man, I was just doing it to help the kids. And it became more and more popular, and we kept growing and growing and growing. And next thing we know, I think we finished with like 3,500 players this past year, and
Wow.
there's like 1,000 girls, and we've given out almost 400 grand in registration scholarships for everything that we
Wow.
do. And that's a lot of money, but we do a lot of fundraising to make that happen. But because of that, we've seen a lot of lives change. Honestly, I think we've seen whole community change because we live in Vallejo. There's always been a lot of gang violence and stuff. And now these kids are coming from all corners of Vallejo. They're on the same teams, they're in the same fields, and they're meshing together like I don't think they ever have before here in our town. And so it's a beautiful thing. And now we've expanded. So we're in 4 locations out here between Solano County, which is North Bay area, now Napa County. Everyone knows Napa, and Sonoma County, which is like, it's just north of San Francisco. But those are the 3 areas, and we added soccer as well because I said, kids, you got to be multi-sport athletes. We don't want you in just one bucket. And so let's start a soccer league. You could come in and play. So we're actually just had our opening weekend last weekend for our winter season. That's with MLS Go with RCX, and it's amazing. The kids love it. We love it. I think it's really easy, and it's a lot less intense. We're a football country, right? Everybody
Yep.
loves American football in America, right? And people get a little bit too intense sometimes. And soccer, it's not as serious in America, so it's super chill. The vibe is pretty chill. And we're in California, like it's not that cold here. It doesn't snow where we are, and so we could really play year round. It's a little wet. We had to play in the rain last week, but we couldn't. It's not like we're in snow, so a little different.
For sure, man. First of all, that's an amazing story, man. I tip my hat to you, especially like just educators in general, just someone just like you could tell like where your heart is because like if you're a teacher already and you're already looking at kids where you want to get them out doing stuff and you see like, hey, these kids could really play. Let me do something. Like I tip my hat. Like I love those type of stories. But my question to you is coming from 120 players going to 3,500, what you said, when was that moment that you said, okay, we got something special. We need to expand. I need to continue like pouring into the community. Like when was that aha moment that you understood like what you really had there?
It's really interesting. After the first season, I didn't intend to continue doing flag football more than just one small season a year.
Oh, really?
I was going to do something different every month. I was going to do a kickball season. I was going to do
What?
like
Okay.
ultimate frisbee. I was going to do everything.
Okay.
But all the parents and my dad and other people were like, "Hey, this is a good thing. You need to keep this going."
Wow.
And I was like, and my mind was variety. I was like, I want to give them all sorts of things
For
too.
sure.
Right.
For sure.
And then I agreed to it. So then I started the spring, and the spring more than doubled. And
Wow.
and then it just kept growing. And so I would say probably after the 3rd season that I realized that it could be a pretty serious thing.
Okay.
And then I would say, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so that I realized probably about a year and a half ago, this could be pretty large.
Okay.
In something that we never intended it to
Okay.
be. Yeah.
I like that.
Now, even on your shirt right there, you have the name of your league right there, the Coach Sarna League. And so I see that you named it after your grandfather. So what about his coaching and his teaching has affected you today?
Yeah, so we named it after my grandfather. He was from a Polish immigrant family. They came they're in the Great Depression, so they were super poor. They didn't speak English, and he came from a really rough background like that. They were in New Jersey, and he ended up being the only kid in his family to go through school and got an athletic scholarship to play football at Notre Dame.
Wow.
And the other quarterback to come from his school was Joe Namath. Joe Theismann.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So, yeah, Joe Theismann and him, but Joe Theismann was decades after him. So he came through and got a scholarship to Notre Dame and played football, and then went to the Marine Corps and he coached sports there, and ended up over here in the West Coast where he married into our family. It's been here since the 1800s, and then he ended up being the athletic director and coach of one of the high schools in our town where I actually ended up going for decades. And he was really known for one, connecting to everybody, but making sports available to everybody. Like, didn't matter who they were, where they were from. He loved taking kids from the rough side of town because that's where he grew up, and really teaching them, giving them boxing lessons. They had boxing in school back then, right? And doing all sorts of, getting them motivated for football. And so many people, when he passed away, he passed away a long time ago, but almost 20 years ago now, actually. But so many people came to the funeral that talked about how they were just, had like no athletic talent, but he believed in them more than they believed in themselves.
Wow.
And then they would work hard and end up playing sports. And there was a lot of those stories growing up, and that he treated everybody the same, and he'd be kind of rough sometimes, but also was really funny. He could be a stand-up comedian too. So, so we said just that whole heart of believing in everybody and making sports something for everyone, whether they could afford it or not. And that's what we wanted.
Man, I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's like you carrying the torch, for the Sarna legacy. I think that's, again, it's just an amazing story. So I want to ask you something, because you triggered something in me. So we here in Pittsburgh, like, our goal is to have locations like around Pittsburgh. That's one of our goals. So I guess explain to maybe other league operators, how do you get other locations set up? Like, do you have somebody that did you already have in mind? Like, hey, I need you to go run like this location, or is it different days? Like, explain that multi locations to us.
So we're really learning that as we go. And we started off with different days. So we have a Fairfield location that specializes in 7-on-7. That's on Saturdays. And then we have this location here in Vallejo, Benicia. That's our original one. That's 5-on-5 Olympic format, which is my personal favorite. That's on Sundays.
Ours too. Yeah.
So we started like that. Then this past year, we started Napa. And so me and my dad split. My dad helps run it with me. So I sent him over to Napa, where I stayed in Vallejo.
Okay.
And now, fourth location's coming up. That's also on Sundays. So this is the first time we are actively recruiting and training somebody to be a site director.
Okay.
And
Hold on, Ryan. Did you already have somebody in mind, or like explain that part too?
Nope, I didn't have anybody in mind. I said we're gonna go, and we'll find somebody as we go. But let's get the spot first, and we're gonna interview some people and make it happen.
Okay. That's stepping out on faith.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go with somebody that I sort of knew, but I respect it.
Yeah, we have other options. Like, we have the option for people we already know to run Napa. So my dad could go to the new fourth location, Sonoma Healdsburg. But we want to. We think there's some like actual head high school football coaches out there and stuff that really want the program to go, that are probably going to step in and just run it. So we have a contingency plan. It just depends. We want to make it a local person out there. If it doesn't the first season, then my dad's running it, while somebody that we already prepped for Napa, just in case, will be ready to run Napa. So that's how we're doing it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, tell us about. Now, we also have a travel aspect of our league here, and I know you guys as well too. So tell us about your NorCal Elite teams over there.
Yeah, we just started. Last year was the first time we ever engaged in tournaments, and it was a blast, man. We took a 14U boys team to the San Francisco Niner tournament, and we lost in the championship to a team that ended up losing in the semifinal of the national championship to the Jaguars Elite, who won the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
But then we ended up going up. Like, for me, we've never played outside of our league. We've only played ourselves. And so it was our first time that we played people from other leagues and areas. And man, it was so much fun. And for me, I mean, yeah, the tournament's great. Winning's fun, but it was the life exposure and the experience of taking
I agree.
Yes.
And after the game, we went around Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, and we just ran around and had a blast and did things that they've never done before. And that's when I said, okay, we got to keep this going. And then we went to Seattle, and we won the Seattle regional tournament and the Seahawks. And I didn't necessarily. I wanted to win, but it wasn't always on the forefront of my mind. I was really excited to take the boys to go see Seattle, right?
For sure.
And we ended up winning, which was crazy. And we ended up taking the boys all over the Seattle to see things they'd never seen before.
That is
and it was really cool. and then we went to Ohio in the national championships, and where were we? The Canton, Ohio, in the Hall of Fame Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
But man, it was a blast.
For
And so
sure.
we took that, said, now that we understand what tournaments are like, we just went to them for the first time. We're going to open this up for everybody. And so we started teams from all the divisions, from
Nice.
8U
Nice.
girls to high school girls, and 8U boys to
Okay.
14U boys.
I love that.
This is year one, but we
Okay.
got 15 teams and
What?
Wow.
100
So you went from one team just to 15. Wow.
That's impressive. Wow.
So
I love that.
it's a blast, and we have a field that we use a few days a week, and we got some great coaches, and we have a period play clock, so the practices are scripted, and we move through the scripted practices like they would on a professional format, and it's a really fun time, and it's a big difference, right? Like when you have a 8-year-old girl team to my high school boys, right? Because some of us coach a couple teams there at different times. Like our 8U to 12U is from 5 to 6:30. They jump off the fields, and our 14U to high school jumps on from 6:45 to 8:30. And that's how we do it Tuesday to Thursday. And then but I coach my young 8U girls because that's my daughter's team. I coach my son's high school boys team. Man, it's so different.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely big, different groups. Yeah, for sure.
Now, have you gone to any regionals yet this year?
No, my 14U boys team got invited to a battle tournament in Arizona, and we lost to Tucson Turf in the semifinal, and they're ranked number 8 in the country. So it was really cool to go toe to toe with them, and I think we did really well. And so these boys are really excited. Our first regional is in San Francisco on March 22nd. So that's coming up in a month.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
For sure.
Appreciate it. We're bringing like 15 teams. So.
Really? So you're the reason why I sold out so fast.
No, all my teams had to go on a wait list. And
my God.
It was bananas. I don't know what happened. What's crazy is last year they couldn't have enough teams, right? Like
what?
There was linear room. They only had two divisions. What? They had 14 boys.
Really?
Girls. And this year they opened it up, and the night that it opened, I went to go on, and we were already on the wait list. I said, "What happened?"
That's crazy.
And so, I don't even know. I don't know who's coming. I have no idea. I didn't even know there was that many teams over here, but they're here.
Yeah, because last year some of those tournaments were just strictly for the 14U division,
right?
And the ones that are on the ESPN,
but like high school,
but now this year all the tournaments now have.
Every division, for sure. Yeah, because I think we seen on social media about like the 49ers regional, it opening and days later was closed. We're like, what in the world is going on? Like that's Beast of the East. Like Beast of the East, okay, cool. But like an NFL flag tournament, and that's just showing like, hey, flag football is now everywhere and everybody's jumping on board. So that's dope, and good luck to you guys. I remember us talking at the summit, and I seen you said that you had a podcast. So you talked about having a podcast and like what you do, and you showed, and where I actually seen it. So I was like, oh, this is the same thing that we do. So, and I love that. Yeah. So tell people about like the podcast, what you do, like how you got started, and the whole nine. I think it'd be a dope story to tell.
Yeah. So we just started. It's called the Sidelines Podcast, and it was really just an opportunity to one, highlight our players, and then highlight people from the community. And so the idea was we actually record once a month. I record 8 episodes in one day, so it's a long day.
Okay. Hold on. Do you change outfits, or you just wear the same outfit?
No, this is my shirt.
Okay. Yeah. Every episode, every show.
I had the ability. I brought other outfits my first episode, but then I looked and I was like, this is like my official shirt anyways. I might as well just like rock it every episode.
Okay.
So we interview some people who are like more advanced in flag football. So like people that are doing travel adult tournaments, Team USA type stuff. Eventually this month, we're going to get some college football, flag football coaches on.
Nice.
Which is really cool. And then we do local business owner to talk about what it's like to, run and operate a business. And that's stuff that we hope weights to kids,
All right.
and then we always interview players.
Okay.
I'll have them in pairs because if they're just one, sometimes they get really shy. So I bounce off of each other. When one starts to get shy, we'll go to the other one. But we have to have two players come on at a time, and that's a lot of fun. And for them, they get to really be highlighted and show that. Then we started last month, actually the month before that, a new series that's called a Foodie Edition.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
basically, we have kids, the 4 players on a panel like Food Network style.
Okay.
And they blind taste test food from different restaurants.
Nice.
And they
Okay.
vote for their best.
I like
Right?
that.
So we just,
All right.
it was fun, man. We just I got chicken chow mein from like 4 different places, and they blind tasted it and chose their best one. And then we got Thai tea. And, it's like, it's just a really fun thing. They get to, really express themselves in a way outside of sports and be highlighted.
For sure.
But we found it was too challenging to do 4 episodes of that because all the food was cold.
Okay.
So now we did 2. We did 1 hot food, 1 cold food, and then we do 2 like TikTok games, right? And then we kind of film the TikTok games. So
Nice.
almost like a game show type thing. So
Love it.
that's the 8 episodes that we record, and we just finished our 3rd set of recording, our 3rd month of it. So we're about to in March do a whole nother 8 episodes that we'll record and show.
I love that. But now, do you drop all the episodes? Like, what's the order? Like, how do you drop the episodes? Like, how long are they? So.
The episodes are about 20 minutes for the interviews.
Okay.
And then for the actual games and foodie stuff, they're about 4 or 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we try to drop them twice a week.
Nice.
So we want to do a Tuesday interview and a Thursday foodie/game.
Okay.
But I have a marketing guy, and we're doing a lot right now, so he's pushed to the limit. So it really depends on when he's able to get it up. But if it works out, those are the 2 days we try to get everything up.
Awesome.
I actually like that because the community is also involved.
Yes.
When you have
sure.
the local restaurants and everything like
Heck
that,
yeah.
and kids get to try some different foods. I like
That's
that.
a great idea.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. Speaking of difference, I do want us to get back into the football a little bit. Since you've done the tournaments a little bit, let's talk about styles and like the West Coast style of you always talk about the West Coast offense and things of that nature. So do you notice a different style and play in football in the West Coast compared to like other areas around the country?
The hard thing is we're talking, now it's like we focus on Olympic 5-on-5 flag football, and that's just like a whole nother breed of football, so we almost entirely focus on the Olympic format, and we learned a lot from national, championships. I think a lot of what we did when we first started is really convert tackle football plays to the 5-on-5 flag football format, which a lot of it works, but then there's some things that are just super unique to the Olympic format, play wise, and that we just didn't really think of. And I was watching people run it in nationals, and I said, okay, we got to make some changes here, adapt to that. So, but when it comes to tackle football, I feel like the game just keeps evolving, and it almost looks like across the board nationally, there's a much more emphasis on throwing the ball shotgun formation everywhere we go. We've got some quarterback camps in Georgia and in Tennessee and out here in California, and it's pretty much becoming kind of universal on what that looks like. And that's different from when I played. It was run, a lot of runs, maybe a few passes a game, and now it's like the complete opposite. It's a lot of throws and some runs. So I can't say that I've seen a huge difference in those tackle football concepts modern wise in 2026 between the areas. So it looks pretty similar, man. What do you guys think?
I agree with the high flying offenses. Because we don't really run the ball too much either. You don't see that too much. I agree with that.
So I think here it's based on like where you're from, because I remember when we played We Different, who's one of the best teams in the nation. They do a lot of I don't want to call it gadget, but they all every play is kind of like a throwback. You can tell that their coach plays adults men football. All their teams the way they play is like adult men's, where it's like you don't know where the ball is coming from because they'll throw it across the field. And I think it's just done in different pockets. Because you may have, there's a team, I forget their name, and they were like reverse heavy. They were a young team because we went to a Pennsylvania tournament, the Philadelphia Eagles tournament, and they were reverse heavy. Where like they ran like a bunch of reverses, fake reverse pass. So I think it just depends on like the community here. That I think that's how it is here. All right, so I am a certified PIAA official. So when I get a chance to go to tournaments and I coach and I get a chance to like see officiating, and a lot of times I be looking and it's, I have a hard time with it. So I guess explain to like some of the viewers, or tell some of the viewers, like, one, like kind of how you get like your officials, two, maybe how like you deal with parents maybe bad mouthing your officials, and then three, what do you feel like maybe when you go to some of these tournaments, what the officiating is like out in the West Coast?
Yeah, we went to a few tournaments, so the officiating was pretty good that we went to. But for our own, we hire and train local athletes. And so we have some community college football players from those 2-year JC schools that we've hired. And then we get some local high school athletes as well, both girl flag football players and boy flag football players. And now that we've been around a little while, we do have players that have, raised up with us. And from us, we found when we first tried to hire outside of our league that they didn't understand the flag football formats very well. And didn't understand a lot of things and the no contact. And so it could be a little controversial quite a bit. And so now we train our own so they know what we're looking for, and every season they get better and better. Right? Every season it gets more clear what we want and who we want. So it's really a work in progress. And as the game evolves, right, there's such a difference between tackle football, 5-on-5 football, 7-on-7 football. So we really just have to be ahead of the game and train them ourselves, because we run that 5-on-5 format, and there's not many people trained for it. And even if they are, some people's 5-on-5 different, right? The rules they have are different. So we really found training in the house is the best way to go. And it's also more affordable. Like, we could really plan on what we want to do, because sometimes the high school officials, they'll charge a lot of money in comparison to what we pay now. And we end up saving money, and it's actually better officiating. Then, not to say that they're not good officials, they just don't know the rules in 5-on-5 Olympic format. It's not a big thing right now. The parents, there's a couple things we do. We do tell the referees they have the authority to throw flags and kick people out. We're always on site with our phone number if something happened, where they could call us, because sometimes our fields get so big, there's so many people. We'll have like 4 games on the football field, we'll have like 4 games on the softball field over here, and so we're kind of going back and forth.
Right.
And it's a blast. But the coaches have something that we call a sportsmanship survey. And after every single game, they have a Google form that they fill out, and it ranks the opposing players, the opposing coaches, and the opposing sideline families on a scale of 1 to 5 on sportsmanship.
Wow.
And they could put comments at the end. So if there's a repetitive thing where after a few weeks, if one team is super low, then we're going to go talk to that coach and families and see what's happening. And if in the comments somebody goes and says, hey, such and such is, berating the referees, then we could call such and such and let them know where we stand there. And if we got to give them a warning, we give them a warning. And then we got an incident committee we started to. So if there's an incident, we send it to the incident committee that meets on Monday nights, and they'll decide what needs to happen and all that good stuff.
That's awesome. I love it. So real quick on the forms, like, how do they fill the form? Is it on their phone? Do they go to the website? Like, how do they fill out the forms?
It's a Google form, and I could send it to you, so you could, if you want to check it out, maybe adopt it. It's up to you. It's really cool, man. That's how I learned. I heard the idea from a different basketball league out here. They do it differently, but that's was the basis of what that gave us the idea for it. But for us, we made a Google form. We have the questions on there, and they have the link in our coach chats. And so we have to remind them quite a bit to fill out the link. And but once they do, we go through and we actually put that sportsmanship score in the overall standings of the team. And at the end of the season, hold on, I'm going to grab something for you. Give me just a sec.
I like that idea because, like,
Yes.
I'm thinking about stealing it. Like, yo, team of the year based on like Google Forms, like based on the stats. Like, oh, and that's what they get. I love that. Okay.
Sportsmanship medal if they win.
I love that.
If they win, they get this sportsmanship medal.
Ryan, we are stealing that. So I'm letting you know we're stealing that idea.
It's cool. It's a really good idea, and I think it helps us keep a pulse on what's going on, because one of the reasons we found out is a lot of times we find out stuff happened like way after the season.
Yep.
I wish you had told us, you know.
Yeah.
So it really helps us keep a pulse on the current, temperature of everybody in the teams, and so we could step in if we need to, because it's a big community, and man, like, it would just be a shame if there was something tragic that happened because somebody lost their temper. So
absolutely,
we gotta keep everybody safe.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a different question than what I had originally scheduled to ask, because you do 5-on-5 and 7-on-7 in your league, right?
Yeah.
Because there are some type of controversy about which is sort of better. Or do you like 5-on-5? Do you like 7-on-7? So give me your thoughts. What are the pros and cons or the perks about both?
I preach 5-on-5 all day. I'm a huge 5-on-5 format. For one, it is the Olympic format. It's a professional format. So when the NFL goes pro, I believe it's going to be 5-on-5. It has a small footprint, so you could put 4+ fields on a one traditional field. And so the footprint's smaller. There's less kids, so they get more opportunities to touch the ball. And then you have because the field's so small, I think the gameplay is really fast. And it's really tough, I think, for quarterbacks. Like the window is really small. And so if you could make some throws in those tight 5-on-5 windows, like my son who plays quarterback, the 7-on-7 is easy for him. It's just such a massive window in comparison to 5-on-5. When you get to 14U and those boys have, 25 yards wide, right? They could be in the middle of the field and 5 steps this way, 5 steps that way, you've covered the field. So it's a different game. I really like it. And 7-on-7 is good. I think it's important, especially for boys that are focused on tackle football, because that really aligns with tackle football concepts. 5-on-5 for me is a different playbook than we have for 7-on-7. They're really it's like a different sport. It really is. My understanding is California is actually separating them as 2 different sports for CIF. So they're going to call the 5-on-5 format, 7-on-7 format separate from each other. And that opens the door for a few things. It opens the door for teams to add those schools to add a 5-on-5 team as a different sport, but it also allows kids to play 7-on-7 in high school and 5-on-5 rec league at the same time without breaking, because it's a different sport.
Nice. I think that's phenomenal. All right. So Ryan, I coach 8U too. So I'm an 8U coach. Funny story. Yeah. So last year, the team that won the Steelers regional from our league played a team from the 49ers, and they were good. I don't remember the name of the team, but they were an 8U team, and they were very, very good. The one thing I remember, we played Tucson turf in Florida like 2 years ago when we went down to Florida, when it was, I think when they were starting to change like the dates of like their tournaments. And I think a couple years ago when we went to like the Flag Bowl, like our other Pittsburgh Elite team ended up playing Tucson turf. So we're definitely familiar. Very, very good organization. But the one thing I noticed is they run like a lot of those like crossing routes. They were big on the mesh concept. They're big like sending their players from one side of the field to the other side. But our 8U team could not hang with them. But I don't even know why I'm saying that. I'm just bringing that up because it's 49ers. My question is, like, for travel flag, you guys have 3,500 kids. So there's no way that all 3,500 kids can play for this travel team. So how did you guys figure out, like, okay, I have an 8U team. I have an 8U girls team, and if you got like 1,000 girls, like how do you decide like who is going to be on this 8U team? Is going to be representing the Coach Sarna League and have an opportunity to go to the San Francisco 49er Regional?
So a couple things. For one, we let them know that there's a big difference in cost. And in rec league, we work with people for scholarships, but we don't have that ability in travel. It's just too expensive. So that unfortunately alone will like cut that number down quite a bit because travel football is expensive. Even though we do give people scholarship opportunities to volunteer at the stadiums that we learned from you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
And so they could use that kind of volunteer bank towards like travel or whatever, which really helps out. But in general, there's a lot of people just don't have time and it's too expensive. We don't have the ability to give them a scholarship for it. So that actually reduced it quite a bit. And then quite frankly, everybody that came out that wanted to play and said we can commit to tournaments, we could commit to, it's longer commitment. This is going from January to August. That they're going to commit to it. They could afford it and all that. Everybody who wanted to, we brought in, but we just brought several teams. So there's the gold team, and then there's the black or the red team, black squad, based off our colors. So our colors are red, gold, and black.
Right. Okay.
And so we just named the teams after that. It's really squad 1, squad 2, squad 3.
Gotcha.
And the top players are in the gold squad. We actually put all of the squads in the same tournament because I promised them, like, you guys are all going to play.
Right.
Our best players are going to be on this team. And this is going to be the hot hands, right?
Okay.
So for me, it really came down to if we had enough coaches to keep it high quality. And we really maxed out, I think, as of right now, the amount of coaches and players that we could do. But it worked out that everybody who came out made it.
That is phenomenal.
We didn't have to turn anybody away.
I love that.
If we do have more players come in, we'd have to match with more coaches.
Gotcha. Oh, I love that, man. Okay.
Now, let me keep on with the travel circuit a little bit. So do you think like the travel teams are coming in like so some people think it's too competitive and you want to balance it out, and for your league, for example, do you have like travel teams come in your league or put together teams in your league, or do you do like a draft situation or what?
Yeah, so a couple things. One, for our personal tournament team, everybody has to play in our rec league to qualify for a tournament team. So that's something else too. But we do have other tournament teams that come play in our league. If I don't have enough good teams to compete against them, we end up having them play up. And so they play in an older division. But if they're in the same thing, we towards the end of the season, we start to separate them into brackets. And then for the playoffs, we have brackets based on how many teams there are to make sure that the kids all have an equal amount to win a ring. So if there's a 8-team division, then the top 4 teams play each other and the bottom 4 teams play each other in A bracket, B bracket. If there's a big discrepancy, we had one scenario last year where there was a big discrepancy in a 6-team division where the top 2 teams just whipped everybody. And so I said, okay, the top 2 teams are automatically in the A bracket championship. The bottom 4 teams that seeds 3 to 6 are in a B bracket tournament by themselves because, they competed with each other. So we separate like that towards the end of the season. My goal would be to get to the point to where we could have brackets all season long. We would have like competitive teams play against each other. My rec teams, or my personal tournament teams, the NorCal Elite teams, I did tell them that they cannot play in the recreation league together on the same team unless they were younger and wanted to play way up as a tournament team. And I'm like, you could do that. Like if you're in 3rd grade, you want to go up to the 5th and 6th grade division, then, I'm cool with that. But you can't be in your age group as a tournament team right now. So that's where we are. And usually we've kept about no more than 3 on a roster.
All right. I like that. So Ryan, I see you guys are doing something like stuff outside of like flag football? Like you guys have like a STEM program, now is it associated with your league, or is that something you do for school, or like explain to people about that STEM program?
Yeah, so that's a Lego building league that we modeled off of the show called Lego Master Builder.
Okay.
And basically, what happened was after a few seasons in flag football, I said we need to do something. Like, I want something for these kids that were in my classroom that had no interest in that academic or athletics, but
Okay.
I'm like, they need to like get out
That
and
is
socialize and
awesome.
get the leadership
For
environment
sure.
because they're just sitting at home playing video games.
Right.
So we were watching that show, and my daughter was like, "You should start this." And I was like, "That's a great
What?
idea." So we started like a Lego Master Builder type league.
That is
Okay.
awesome.
That's gone for a few years. It's a lot of fun, and but it's tough. Lego's really expensive.
Really? I
And
don't know the Lego world. Okay.
it's crazy expensive. So we basically they're on teams of 4 to 5, and there'll be 15 teams, and they get together for 4 hours, and the first or 3 hours, the first hour. We teach them like a build like that they have to use. We give them a theme of the week, like superhero theme or story tale or Star Wars, whatever it is, and then they get a timer, and they got 3 hours to make their build based off the theme of the week.
Okay.
And then we have somebody walk around as a judge to judge. We have different judges to judge, the builds based on, creativity and all this stuff. And then, and it's cool because it is STEM, right? There's all sorts of engineering and stuff involved,
Yeah.
but it also, for the kids who aren't involved in sports, it creates an opportunity for them to have leadership,
Yes.
to work in a team,
For
right?
sure.
On things that they like.
Yes.
And we have concession stands with hot dogs and stuff and make it like a
What?
fun, cool environment.
I
But
love that.
yeah, so it's a blast. I really love doing it. And so it's fun. It's fun. It really
Love
is.
that. Love that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-huh. So, excuse me. So, if you've been on the West Coast, I'm back on the West Coast thing again. What do you think the West Coast does differently, like from a plague standpoint, compared to some of the other areas across the country?
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't see, like I said, in 2026, I think people are with the rise of social media and the kind of blanketing coaching clinics you have going on around the country that are really teaching the same thing. It doesn't look like there's a huge difference that I see, as opposed to 20 years ago, right? When there wasn't so much availability to see who's doing where.
Mhm.
And, you have the West Coast offense that was super different. Now it seems like so much has really merged more together. It's just a whole hodgepodge of
Mm.
ideas and thoughts from over the years and all that. But that's a hard question to answer. I don't know if I've seen a huge difference right now. Maybe I'm
Gotcha.
just not around enough on the East Coast.
Gotcha. All right.
But the one perk about being on the West Coast is you get to practice outside all the time, like you said earlier. Because
Yeah.
here in the East, we have to shut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're always outside of it, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, I do like that. Just like Florida. Like Florida's kind of the same way. They got good weather. So on the East Coast, we don't have those luxuries. But Ryan, first of all, we really appreciate you being on. Like, this was a blast. So the question I always love to end with is like, what Olympic, flag football coming up? First, the one thing I want to mention, because I think I'm gonna steal this from you, because you keep calling it Olympic flag football. Like, your league runs Olympic flag football, and I think that's phenomenal. I think we need to start using that same type of verbiage. So that's another thing that we're going to end up stealing from you. But if you are a coach for the LA Olympics coming out your way. So if you're a coach, you got promoted, all right, you're putting a team together, you are the GM, all right, you could give me any player, out there. Who would you choose to be on your starting five to represent the USA in 2028 in the LA Olympics?
Well, first I'd put Isaiah Calhoun out there. He actually plays with Team USA right now.
Nice.
Okay.
He just won the MVP against the USA-Mexico game out here in San Francisco.
Oh,
He's from
really?
Texas.
Oh, so he was the safety. He was the one that got the pick six.
He gets
Yeah,
pick six.
yeah. Okay, because I watched the game. It was a phenomenal game, by the way. So yeah, okay. I didn't know he was from y'all area.
He's not. He's from Texas, but we've connected through like for the flag football world.
Oh, gotcha.
He came out here to volunteer at a girls' clinic that we put
Really?
together like a year or so ago.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
so we had a good time. So we love Isaiah. Matter of fact, he's supposed to come on my podcast real soon.
Okay, we'll make sure we
Yeah.
on that episode. We got to check that out though, for sure.
Yeah, so he'd be a great one, man. And then, man, maybe Will Frazier. Will Frazier is also an international flag football guy. He's a wide receiver.
Okay.
He's actually, he is from here. He did try out for the 49ers one time, played college football and all, but he's an international guy. He's coming back from Thailand this coming up week. He's been traveling the world. He travels the world year-round, dang near, playing tournaments.
Really?
He's got his own glove lines, but
What?
receiver-wise, that guy's just a freaky athlete, but he also understands the different movements for flag. And he talks about the transition.
Yes,
like
that's a skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's one thing. Like for my boys, we see stiffness in their hips, and compared to flag football, like when they're coming from tackle football, they're used to, dropping the shoulder, or, going or turning and running, and your hips are stiff. In flag, it's a whole different movement.
Fluidity. Most definitely.
And so that's one thing that we're really trying to get into the boys. Like they're coming from tackle football, and there's some great things there, but there's a whole different training that has to happen to move in flag. So, man, I would grab a lot of the guys from Team USA.
Okay.
To be honest with you,
I love that.
The way they move, it's trained differently.
For sure.
And
most definitely.
And so they're going to be rocking, man.
Most definitely. I'm excited.
I'm a Brock Purdy fan. I got to throw Brock Purdy out there.
Okay.
Have him out on the team.
Okay.
That'd be. Who's the tallest receiver in the NFL? I mean, can you imagine?
I don't know. Darnell Washington is the tallest. I mean, he's a tight
big.
end, but he's huge. Like 6'8".
Like Justin Jefferson out there.
Okay.
Tell him to go throw that jump ball. I mean, there's not many guys in the world that are gonna, they're gonna keep up with that ability to get that vertical and high shot the ball.
For sure.
There'd be some good guys out there. Maybe Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Another Niner. You stay with the Niners. Okay, we love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Plus, I respect those first two choices you said because they are from the USA and professional flag world.
Absolutely.
And I've said it in the last podcast episode, the flag players, I think professional flag players should be represented on that team. And look, you should maybe some NFL players too, but definitely the professional.
It should
flag
be a
players.
mixture.
Yes.
Yeah, it should definitely be a mixture.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I actually think some of these guys would beat out the NFL talent that might be a little bigger, stronger, faster than them, but it takes a while to truly get flag football movements down. And there's things that are big no-nos in tackle football, right? Like holding the flag within the ball in your hand. Because in flag football, that makes your hips more elusive, right? And because
that's a good point.
The game is all about the flag.
Right.
Not about the ball. If you drop the ball, it's dead, right?
Dead, right.
And tackle, you got to protect the ball at all costs, but now your hips are stiff, right? You don't get to move them as well.
Yeah, good point.
But there's some like differences that take some training the brain, muscle memory differences.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, that's valid.
I never thought about that before. Yeah,
that's valid.
Someone taught me that recently. I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It does.
It definitely does. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, as Rashad said, it's been a pleasure having you on as our guest for this episode of Flag Talk. And so, as we say to all of our guests, one, if you want to say something else more about your league that we haven't talked about, please do so. But more importantly, what are their socials? Where can people reach you at? Things of that nature.
Absolutely. Well, first off, we're thankful. Our league's thankful that you invited us out here. And not out here. I'm here in the West Coast, but on here.
For sure.
Right? And we appreciate you guys. I remember we met in New Orleans. That was our very first NFL flag. And you guys taught us how vital it could be to use the, to fundraise at stadiums and all that. Really helped. That changed our whole trajectory of what we were able to do. Like the scholarships that we've given have come from that.
For sure. That is so awesome.
So you guys. Social media, we're the Coach Sarna League. We're the only Coach Sarna League, so it's pretty easy to type us up on all the social media platforms. Instagram, NorCal Elite, a 5-on-5 Elite is what we call the travel team. That's a different page.
Okay.
that's it, man. We're ready to
Awesome.
rock and roll. And we're really
Awesome.
thankful for your time.
Absolutely.
It's funny. I just ran. So we work a lot with the 49ers, and right now there's a 49ers clinic with us going on at our Fairfield location.
Wow.
And they have Sourdough Sam there and all that. It's the 49ers mascot. And I was getting that started and talking to kids and families, and I ran home to get on this.
Wow.
And now we have our Frat Feed fundraiser going on in a couple hours. I got to run over to.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like a boom, boom, boom kind of day.
For sure, man.
We appreciate you, man. And
Absolutely.
appreciate the time.
All right,
we
man.
have to return the favor. You know, we have to come out to you, be on your show.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right.
All right, man. Ryan, it was a pleasure,
Probably doing
man.
Just like this.
Yep. We'll be right back here in the studio, and we can hop on, man. It was definitely a pleasure, though, brother.
Unless the Steelers come to town, maybe you just come in. If they come in, Steelers come to San Francisco. Are they coming around?
No, y'all beat the brakes off of us the first game of the season. When we thought the Steelers was going to be good, remember we played the 49ers first game of the season, and they beat the brakes.
No, we didn't.
That wasn't this year?
No, but that was the Seahawks that beat us.
Oh, that was the Seahawks? Maybe it was late. Wait, so we played the 49ers then, didn't we?
How did we play them this year?
I don't know why I thought we played we did.
So,
No.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we played the year before that.
Mate, that's what I'm thinking then. I know it was 1 year, it was the first game of the season, they beat the brakes off us.
Yeah.
So maybe it was 2 years ago then. So
And Niners got to go all over the world this year. We're going to Australia and Mexico.
really? Okay. But
Yeah,
Mexico's not too far from you guys. Mexico's not too far from you guys.
I mean, it's a big country, so it's a pretty long flight.
Oh,
to
I
go
guess
from here
it depends
to
on where it
Mexico City.
is. Okay, because I know
middle
like
of the Mexico.
Arizona, like right across Arizona, like the border's right there. So yeah, I guess it just depends on
Yeah.
where you're at. So okay.
Way down there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you, man, and thank you so much for the invite.
Most
All
definitely,
right.
man.
Ryan Sarna, Coach Sarna League out there in California. Again, thanks for coming on. And of course, check us out on some of our past episodes and previous seasons. You can go to our social media pages and check out all of us. Flag Talk. See you next
All right,
time.
man. We
Later.
out,
Bye
man.
bye.
Coach Sarna League.
Outside the sports bar, V stay in sports mode. Different year, same habits. I know what you want, but you can't have it. You got bad